Hi, welcome back to See What Sticks, a podcast about everything and nothing. I'm sick.
I'm also sick, and I'm your co-host, Emma.
I'm actually really sick.
Me too.
I feel like complete garbage right now. But we're doing something for the first time, recording a podcast ahead of schedule.
But
It's incredible. I'm proud of us.
I'm so thankful.
Yeah, so I don't have to record it, then rush to edit it and try to get it out by midnight. It's Saturday right now. It is a Saturday right now, and usually I release Sunday really late, so I have a long time to do it. Yeah. Oh, okay.
You got some like pesto in your teeth.
Do I?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Oh, okay.
That's a visual that everyone really wanted.
It was bothering me.
Okay, so we haven't figured out a thing that we're going to talk about. Actually, there's a few things I want to talk about. So I want to go back to our discussion about Netflix TV shows, and Netflix TV shows that we would definitely recommend to people. Do you have any?
Me personally?
Yeah.
I love BoJack Horseman.
Really? Have you seen season 4?
Not yet. I need to.
I haven't finished season 3.
What?
Yeah, you know the episode where they're underwater and there's no words?
That was your last episode?
That's the last episode. Okay, the reason why is because I was watching it like a couple months ago or last year, whenever it came out, and it was really good, except that episode is so sad, and it bummed me out.
That one really, really bummed me out as well. But
Yeah.
you kind of gotta keep watching. I mean, it's actually the season, if I remember correctly.
Wait, oh, spoiler alert for all of this. Like, we're full spoilers ahead. Does Diane have a miscarriage or an abortion or something? That's what I've heard.
I'm gonna be real. I can't really remember right now because it's been like a while since I finished that season. But yeah, something like that happens. I think that she gets an abortion.
Oh,
I don't
okay.
think that she... Well, okay.
Is it Mr. Peanut Butter's?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, really?
But the thing is, I don't know if they actually show her going through...
Is it just, like, implied?
No,
I don't know.
No, they do. I think they do, and I think that, like, you have to watch it. I'm not
Okay,
going to spoil
yeah.
it for you. You have to watch it.
But I do know in season 4, I think, this is something, I have heard this, I might be wrong, so if anyone has seen it out there, just correct me or whatever. But I think BoJack's mom dies because she's senile and she's in like a retirement community, and a lot of the 4th season deals with her, and that's something that I have heard, and it gets even more depressing.
That's really, I mean, I understand why the show is built like that, but it's also
it's
very
just really
sad.
real. Like, it's not a comedy.
You are Mr. Peanut Butter. If I had to guess characters on that show, who you would be Mr. Peanut Butter. Hands
Is it because I wear sunglasses all the time on the top of my head?
Yeah, and you just have that weird like.
Oh.
You have that posture where you like puff your chest out a little bit. Like
should I walk into everything and be like, is this a crossover episode?
You should. You should wear gray V-necks because that's like your thing.
I have gray V-necks.
You wear them and it makes you look like Mr. Peanut Butter. You look like a Labrador.
Yeah. I thought he was a golden retriever.
I thought he was a yellow lab.
I'm not sure. They probably mention it somewhere and use it as a pun.
I probably don't pay attention.
I love that one of Diane's brothers is literally a black sheep because he's the black sheep of the family. He's literally a black sheep. I think that's really funny.
That is actually very funny.
But no, that show's really good. I've recommended it to a few people, and they went into it thinking it was a comedy because it's animated. But there's funny aspects to the show, but it's more of a drama.
See, people totally are misguided by animated things, I think. More so than not.
Yeah, no, definitely. What's your favorite animated, like, property? So property, like, being a TV show, movie, like, anything animated. It can be a music video.
My absolute favorite?
Yeah, it has to be. So animated also, technically Avatar is animated, but I don't consider that.
Okay, so are you talking, like, motion capture, or are you talking fully animated?
So,
as in, like...
yeah, like Avatar being motion capture, technically it is, but it has to be, like, Space Jam is as far as real people and animation together. It has to be something that's fully created in a computer and not, really modeled off people one-to-one. Bug's Life?
A Bug's Life. Yes.
Yeah.
I love that movie so very much.
Yeah.
I always like. Do you remember very much about that movie?
The grasshoppers are the bad guys, right?
Yes. They're like locusts.
Yeah,
of.
I remember very little bit. I haven't seen that movie probably
I don't know
in 10
why,
years.
but like, you know when they're carrying the seeds around?
Yeah.
I always wanted to eat one.
Right? And they're inside the water bottle or whatever?
Yes! And like, I always wanted just to like, the texture that the animators made them just was
the water bubbles?
Oh, yeah.
That was really cool.
Everything about that movie was actually very
No,
cool.
that movie, I should go back and...
Quick, what's the main ant's name?
Is it Flick?
Yes.
Yeah.
What's the little tiny little baby ant? The
Oh.
cute little loud one?
I don't know.
Dot.
Oh, really?
Right? No, shoot. Is it Dot or is it...
Do you have a phone?
Well, thank you, Captain Obvious, asshole.
I'm sorry. What's the name of the grasshopper? It's Heimlich.
Is it, though?
Yeah. The grasshopper's Heimlich.
Hang on, character
Like Heimlich
website.
maneuver?
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Heimlich maneuver. Okay, Princess Ada is
Uh-huh.
the kind of girlfriend.
Yeah.
Heimlich is the caterpillar.
Yeah.
I love Heimlich. He's like my favorite.
He has the little wings at the end.
P.T. Flea, Mr. Soil,
Can I see?
Thorny, Dr. Flora, Dot, I think is the one I'm thinking of.
Yeah. Can you go up? Wow. I have to go back and watch that.
You do.
No, that movie is fantastic. But, Bug's Life is your favorite animated?
Yeah, probably.
So, do you...
What was the spider's name? It was something really common sense, and I can't remember. Was it Widow? I think it was Widow.
I literally don't know.
Gosh.
So, do you like any other cartoon things? Like, what about, like TV shows?
Cartoon TV shows. You know, I did watch a lot of Jimmy Neutron when I was a lot younger.
Okay, did the Jimmy Neutron movie come out before the TV show? So was it like the...
No, I think it was the other way around.
Really?
Or like came out during the show's like airtime.
The Jimmy Neutron movie with the egg people?
What? I don't think I saw that.
You never... That's the first Jimmy Neutron movie with... It has like the egg people.
What?
Okay, someone out there definitely knows what I'm talking about. So just type in Jimmy Neutron, egg people. So, Neutron.
Was it The Boy Genius?
Yeah, so this movie came out before the TV show, and the TV show is like a spin-off of it. So...
Oh, the green.
Yeah,
things.
they're eggs. Egg alien. Okay, egg alien. Let's see.
You totally are Carl.
So Mr. Peanut Butter and Carl. No, if I'm anyone from any TV show, I'm Milhouse.
No, you're not.
Who would I be? Okay, in The Simpsons, who would I be? I know I'm a bigger Simpsons fan than you. Like, you probably haven't seen every episode.
What?
Yeah?
What is Chief Wiggum's son's name?
Oh, for Ralph?
You're totally
not
Ralph. You're totally Ralph. Who am I?
Who are you?
I swear to God, if you say Lisa, I will actually punch you.
You'd probably be Lisa.
Why?
Because you're kind of
Dude,
a nerd.
everybody hates Lisa.
I mean, but like, you're really into nature. You're kind of a geek. You're sort of like a kind of one of those like Justice Warriors. Like, hey, this is wrong. You're all of those things. So is Lisa.
And I played flute.
She plays saxophone though.
But she played it.
No, yeah. But yeah, you're Lisa. I'm definitely not Bart. I'm not cool enough.
Ralph.
I'm not Ralph.
You're so... I swear to God, we'll turn around and see your finger up your nose before. I swear you are literally the human version of Ralph.
There was a meme I was going to use earlier this week in a conversation, and it was just with someone who didn't say something properly. They just used the wrong grammatical term. And there's a Ralph Wiggum meme. It's like, I failed English. That's impossible. And I was about to put that in there, but that would have been really, really, really poor taste.
Yeah, probably. Okay, did you see that weird Facebook post where the artist turned like all of our favorite cartoon characters into like human-like people?
The Homer Simpson one is like horrifying.
That one and
the SpongeBob. Yeah.
Yes. Anything.
Okay.
Oh man, have you heard the SpongeBob music theme slowed down by like
Yes.
13,000 or whatever? It's some
like,
crazy number.
It's super, super
It's
scary.
Horrifying.
Actually, okay. If we're gonna go into what my favorite animated property, I mean, I love The Simpsons. I'm a huge Simpsons fan. I love Big Mouth. I can't say it's a favorite because there's only one season.
Yeah.
That show, amazing. What else is really good? You know what? There's two really good movies that were made. One was Disney and one wasn't. It was probably like Sony or DreamWorks. No, DreamWorks is Steven Spielberg's company. But it was like Sony or something like that. And it came out in 2006. You can look it up if you don't know what I'm talking about. It's called Titan AE. Matt Damon was in it. That movie was incredible. And they fought these monsters. Were they called the Dredge or something? And yeah, that's it. It was the greatest thing ever. It was kind of CGI, kind of not, but it was so good. And it was like kind of like heartfelt as well. And that was good. And so was Treasure Planet. If you ever saw that, it was a Disney one.
I love Treasure Planet. I don't think that
You didn't see Titan AE?
I actually kind of familiar, but I don't think that I got into it at least.
I have Titan AE on my computer. I have it on like iTunes. We should watch it. It's legitimately so good. I think that's one of those movies as a kid I watched like 100 times.
Did you see, actually, speaking of, where Disney was reusing old footage or some way, like, or old art? So they did like a comparison contrast of like, I think it's...
Was it their old racist cartoons that definitely had blackface characters?
That's definitely the Grimm Brothers.
Wait, what?
Thing.
What are you talking? I thought like the Steamboat Mickey has like a guy in blackface. Or it's one of those.
No, I'm not talking about those. I'm talking about like the Disney princesses. So basically, like, there are scenes in like, I think still like Cinderella. I gotta remember which one came out which, like, and when, because they all have a
Snow White is the earliest one.
Okay, so there's a part where like, I think it's Cinderella is like dancing in the forest, talking to all the little animals, and it's a different scene and everything, but the movements of all the things that are in the scene are identical to something in Snow White.
Really?
Where Disney has reused the same like.
Oh, the animation, but they just like
switched around like the colors and characters, but it literally is like timed. It's like the Jungle Book is one of them, and Winnie the Pooh.
Really?
Yeah, where the little boy throws the rock over or whatever, and then
Christopher Robin. That's the little boy in Winnie the Pooh. Same as Christopher Robin.
Well, yes. So it's that and Mowgli. And there's one where Mowgli's on the very edge thing, and there's one where Christopher Robin's on the edge thing. It's the same stuff.
Oh, really? That's actually super cool.
I was kind of like, I never thought about that, but I'm like, you know what? That kind of makes sense.
Yeah, that you'd reuse animation.
The thing that bothers me is someone figured that out, and I'm like, how much did you watch those films
to
figure that out?
Okay, not just to figure out. I feel like that's a thing that you learn in like film school. That's something that sounds like I would have learned in a class. It's one of those like film fun facts. That
this was like, I'm gonna try and find the article while we're talking. It's kind of crazy because it's a lot of movies that I've seen that I'm like, wow, I didn't even realize that's happening.
Wait, Winnie the Pooh's Disney?
Maybe not. The article said it was.
Oh, I didn't know. I mean, I might be dumb and wrong. I didn't realize Winnie the Pooh was Disney.
Winnie the Pooh.
You know what? I think he is Disney. That's dumb of me. I think he is because I think there's a Winnie.
I don't know who else he would have been.
I think there's a Winnie the Pooh ride at Disney World.
I've not been to Disney World since I was 4 years old.
I went.
You know, I kind of want to go back.
I wish when I was in LA this summer I went to Universal Studios or Disneyland. I really wish I went there. I went to Universal and Disneyland when I was like 10. But I haven't been since. I really want to go because I love theme parks.
I want to go again because I want to go to the Animal Kingdom because they didn't have that there when I was 4, which is kind of crazy to think about. I was 4.
They had it there when I was 4, and I'm older than you.
Dude, they did not have it.
I'm 100%.
I'm looking this up.
Yes, they did. Someone lied to you. Animal Kingdom was there. Let's look up what year is built. Sorry, we're trying to fill the space here because she's on her phone, and we're gonna look this up. What'd you type in?
Disney Animal Kingdom.
Just look up when it opened. I'm 1,000% sure because I went when I was really, really little, probably 2 or 3. So, what year did it open?
It opened in April 22nd, 1998. I have no recollection of it.
Really?
Yeah. I would think that I would remember the big tree and everything, but I don't.
Oh, yeah, because I've been there. I think I went to Disney 2 or 3 times in my life. And I remember going to the Animal Kingdom each time. You know where I've never been? Epcot, because it's probably real boring. The one thing I want to do at Epcot is because it's like, you know, when you see like things from the 50s, it's like the World of Tomorrow. They have a lot of that at Epcot, and I'd love to see that. Where
I want to go to the Avatar section of
Avatar's not even a Disney property. No, I know. It's
but
like
they made the floating
the islands.
Things.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, I kind of want to go there because that's just like construction-wise, I think that's super cool.
Yeah.
I thought.
Yeah.
No, because it's Disney's Pixar that made Avatar, wasn't it?
No, it's on Pixar. Look up. It's James Cameron did it. I think it's like New Line Cinema. Pixar would not have done Avatar. Pixar only does like children's animations, and Avatar is not a children's animation thing. I'm gonna say it's 20th Century Fox that did it. I mean, I'm sure Disney bought the property for it or bought the rights to the name. However, I'm almost 100% sure it was not a Disney movie, or if it was, that was under the radar.
I'm seeing if Disney
What is it? So what company made it?
It just says that in September 2011, Disney announced that Avatar would be coming to the Animal Kingdom.
I think maybe they bought the name then.
Yeah, probably. They made $2.8 billion in box office.
Yeah, Avatar's ridiculous. And they're making like 4 more of those.
That's like such
Who's asking for that? Like, who in like Hollywood?
Nobody, I think, asked. Wow. I don't think anybody asked for it in Hollywood. I think it's because when James Cameron started the first Avatar, he kind of presented it as like a whole thing. And they were only able to complete the first movie at that time thus far.
Because James Cameron went to go hide in a submarine.
Fact.
Oh.
No, but when he presented the idea, from what I've always heard, is like it's actually like a whole group of movies.
Yeah,
and
no,
it
it's
just
a
is
whole.
Gonna take
It's a whole expanded
decades
universe
to finish each one.
Yeah, that. Oh God.
Apparently, the next one's going to be like even more.
And it's underwater.
interactive.
The whole one's underwater. And there's a thing where James Cameron was like, "I'm having difficulties finishing this movie because it's hard to do motion capture underwater." And I'm like, "Dude, how about you do this? How about you do normal motion capture on like wires or on like trampolines, and then animate the water in? You don't need to do the whole."
But he I do give him props though for his dedication. That's pretty intense to be like, we're gonna do motion capture.
That's almost
underwater.
That's like Elon Musk saying like, "Hey, our next movie," because Elon is gonna then, in this universe, he owns a movie company, and he's gonna be like, "You know what? We're gonna film a movie actually on Mars, and we're gonna really leave Matt Damon there. That'll really show him." That's the equivalent of what James Cameron is doing.
But the thing is, James Cameron is doing it. That's what's crazy about it. Is he's like, you know what? Screw this. I'm actually gonna do it.
Actually, on that note, we'll get back to cartoons in a second. Let's say, you know how Elon Musk is trying to do the colonization of Mars?
Mm-hmm.
Would you go there, but you have to stay there?
No.
You wouldn't do it?
No.
Really?
I'm way too much of a chicken shit to actually, because the thing is, you can't come back, and that's I think what scares me. I am the most non-committal person. Oh no, you are the most non-committal person.
Yeah.
I'm second to you on the non-committal part. And
so I think if I was 80, I would go. If you're at the
if
end,
I was old, I would totally do it. I'd probably die in the process before I even got there, though. So then part of me is like, that's kind of.
I think it only takes like 3 or 4 years to get there. Maybe 8 years.
You know how long the training is to even be able to get there? You have to train for like 7 years, dude, and they completely alter your body temperature and everything to do it. It's insane. That's why you can't come back to Earth.
Yeah.
You can't live here anymore.
Yeah, because you'll turn into gel.
Literally.
No,
Like, that's horrifying.
And like if you're in
know.
space for a long time, your muscles change and your bone density changes to like adapt to it.
Yeah, that's why they have to run on treadmills.
Yeah.
Have you seen an astronaut run on a treadmill?
Yeah. Have you seen the weightlifting stuff they have? It's like on springs, and there's resistance to it.
That would make sense, because otherwise it would just lift it for you, and you'd be like, wow, I'm doing
it's
kind of
like it's like a Smith machine, but it's like on resistance springs pushing down, and you can like crank it up. It's like super cool.
They really figured everything out for that, huh?
Did you hear the thing? I don't know if it's a joke or if it's real, where it's like the US and Russia in like the 50s or 60s, they were doing the race to like space, and they were doing the race to all these things, and one of the two countries was trying to bring a pen in outer space, but a pen needs gravity to work because it's pushing the ink down onto the ball. However, one of the countries developed a pen that works in zero gravity. The other country brought a pencil. It's 100% real. Like, that is a story I heard. I don't know if the actual fact is 100% real.
Because ballpoint pens work that way.
Yeah, you need gravity for a lot of those little things that you wouldn't think of to work.
That really bothers me.
Because when you engineer things,
really bothers me.
when you engineer things, or when you build anything on Earth, gravity will probably have an effect on it, and you just don't really realize that when you're building things, right? Like with a cup, the water sits at the bottom; it doesn't float up the top. Like, I mean, you're drinking a Starbucks right now, but think about like a cup like this. I mean, there's a hole in the top, but if there wasn't gravity, it would just come out. And I don't know if that's just a weird way to look at stuff, but how did we get to here from?
Because we started with animation, and Avatar, and that whole thing. Yeah.
What other movies and like properties that are?
You know, I know that it's very little animation because a lot of it was actually like real.
Yeah.
But Jurassic Park.
I mean, that's mostly real.
That's insane, though.
I think Steven Spielberg would be insulted if you said that was animation.
I can't remember what they did. It's, like, not necessarily animation. It's something that they did over. Because, like, the Tyrannosaurus Rex is not an entire piece.
Well, it's a big animatronic, and then they patched it in.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that, I think that's super cool how it flows, because he's, like, an entire chunk. Like, that's an actual functioning animatronic. And I'm like, that's...
It's actually, talking about CGI, there's, when you watch movies, have you ever seen, like, The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo? Or...
No, I always wanted to see it, but the only one that was available on my Netflix was the German version. And I don't have that
it was the Norwegian version? That's where it's from. It's from Norway.
German. It was all in German. And it was on my Netflix.
Well, I think the guy who wrote it is from Norway, though.
Still, it was in German. I don't know why, but like...
No, that's where the movie was made. My parents have watched it.
No, I lied. It was in Norwegian, but the closed captioning was in German.
Oh.
But it was on my Netflix, and I don't have that weird... It's illegal, but what is it when you get the thing that switches where your Netflix...
The VPN?
Yes, I didn't have anything like that on. It was just my standard United States VPN, and it pulled up that freaking German-Norwegian crossover Girl with the Dragon Tattoo thing, and I'm like, I was so excited, because I'm like, oh, I get to watch it, and then, like, I tried.
I'm going to be honest, my parents have watched all three. I've watched the American version by David Fincher, who directed it, and then the Norwegian version, way better, Norwegian one. It's a lot more, apparently, true to the book, and it's a lot less Hollywood, which means it's a lot like glitzy and glamoury.
Yeah.
Did you ever
watch The Black Swan?
The what?
The Black Swan.
Have I seen Black Swan? Yeah.
It's a very dark movie. That movie messed me up a little bit. I
saw Black Swan. That movie came out in like 2006 or 7.
Yeah.
And that was right when I was really getting into movies, before I decided that's what I want to do with my life. But that was like that time right before I started watching every movie that was like getting nominated for an Oscar. And I saw it and I was like, this is weird. Like,
it's pretty messed up. I used to dance though, so I think it also kind of had that extra level for me where like some of that is very real, like the body issues.
Oh, I'm sure.
I mean, I remember having some of that where you'd like look in the mirror and you'd be like, wow, I don't have shoulders like Brenda, kind of thing.
All those girls from Dance Moms are gonna have that issue, because my parents watch that and I'm like, these girls are gonna be so messed up.
But I think there's gonna be a few that have some self-confidence problems,
because like if you live in the spotlight as a little kid, it's gonna mess you up. Because
speaking of, did you know Miley Cyrus has really cleaned herself up? Like, she's actually
I heard she cleaned herself up and then she uncleaned herself up now.
No, she's still like on the road.
Oh, okay. No, yeah, good for her.
Yeah, she's on The Voice now. She's actually a judge on The Voice.
So she's sold out?
Yes, but she actually is doing better in her life. Like, she's released statements about it, and I'm like, that's kind of cool. Like, they were able to watch her come back. Like, speaking of, what happened to, was it Lindsay Lohan? Who shaved their head? Britney Spears?
Britney Spears.
She's kind of doing her own thing now, isn't she?
I think she was irrelevant until she shaved her head, and now she's irrelevant again. And that was like in 2008.
Like, then what happened to Lindsay Lohan? She got
Lindsay Lohan was like did The Parent Trap, then she did Mean Girls, and she did like the Herbie Fully Loaded remix.
Okay, I did like remake. Herbie Fully Loaded.
She did like all those, and then she did Freaky Friday, and I think after that the fame kind of got to her, because I think she was like 17, and you're making millions of dollars. You have people waiting on you hand and foot on set, and then when you get off set, you're just like sort of a normal person again. And so that kind of gets to you, especially if you're a kid and you have like that warped sense of reality. Mm-hmm. When you can just, on set, you can just be like snap your fingers and like, hey, I want an umbrella, I want a drink, I want this, I want that, I want this. But then when you get to the normal real world, you can't do that. And I think that's why a lot of those kids get really, really, really messed up. And I really hope the Stranger Things kids don't go there, because those kids all seem really nice.
I can't say his first name, starts with a G. Little curly-headed fella.
Oh, I don't know. But the kid who plays Mike has the coolest name. His name's Finn Wolfhard. That is the coolest name ever.
That was very cool.
I'll go hard for Wolfhard.
Okay. That got really...
It's awesome.
Like, you got pedo bear there for a minute, dude.
No, it's like, you gotta go hard. Not like that. You just go hard for Wolfhard.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
Speaking of pedos,
Jesus Christ, that was a hard turn.
Did you watch the news about that soccer coach in Florida that kidnapped supposedly this 17-year-old girl?
No.
Okay, so...
No, I'm glad I didn't watch the news.
Okay, so everyone's like, oh yeah, you kidnapped her, blah, 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 blah. Well, she ran away from home. Like, her parents knew that she ran away to be with this dude. It was more of a matter of finding. They found him in New York, actually. But the way they found him was because they were in a McDonald's and they got caught on camera. But here's the thing: is everyone's like, he's facing charges now for like kidnapping
Well,
her.
was it? Did she run off with him, and
Yes.
they're just calling it kidnapping?
Yes. But what happened now is what the fine line here is. She is not of age, and when he crossed state lines with her, that is when it turned to kidnap because her parents did not.
Even though it was technically consensual between them.
But because she is not 18, it is not consensual, and it's
statutory something or other. Or
pretty
something,
much.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he manipulated her is kind of what they're saying. But everyone, I've seen it on Facebook, and a bunch of people in the comments are kind of like, well, she was consenting, blah, 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 I remember. But then everyone else is like, well, remember how stupid you were when you were 17? And you have he's I think he's 40. Or something. He's in his 40s.
Oh, sweet. He's twice her age. That's classy.
Well, the thing is, everyone's like, he totally manipulated her. And I'm kind of like, okay, I mean, I definitely was dumb when I was 17. And so I kind of do see that side of it, too, where I was like, everyone else is like, why didn't he just wait till she was 18? When none of this would have happened.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know if you can really stand up for a guy who potentially kidnap someone, but
see that's where it's confusing to me, because do you call it a kidnapping? Do you call it
I think because she's not over the age of 18, it's a kidnapping.
I think it's a kidnapping.
Oh wait, so let's go back to cartoons because we got to a really weird place.
I don't know, this popped. It's a weird. I don't know. The whole thing's weird.
Yeah. Okay, so for cartoons, you were talking about Jimmy Neutron and SpongeBob, and you know what? Not a fan of SpongeBob. It's his voice. It makes me upset. His voice is like nails on a chalkboard.
See, English is hard. It did not bother me as a child, but now when I try and watch it, it does bother me.
You know what?
I'm kind of like,
I know I'm going to sound like whatever. Is it like hip? I don't know if it's like hipster or just anti for being anti. The SpongeBob memes make me upset. Partially because I don't always understand them, but also just because they're, in my opinion, in my personal opinion, when I see like the SpongeBob memes, they're just not funny. I'm like,
it's because you didn't watch it. That's the thing. That's what's not funny to you, because it's like there's certain things where it'll just be this random ass background character that you would have no idea who he even is because you've never even heard of his name. Because I don't even think some of them have names, but they play these stupid little minor parts throughout the entire everything of SpongeBob, and so when someone brings him up, it's hilarious.
This is how I feel about what you're saying right now.
Okay. It's a picture of the hormone monster.
It's just him kind of with his mouth open, his eyes kind of rolled down. Just whatever. But no, I understand. There's some memes out there. We talked about Pepe the Frog last week and how he's definitely a racist thing now. But there's some memes out there that are hilarious. They're just damn, that is classic. What's the one with the guy? He's the excuse me guy. Where he blinks his eyes and kind of looks like, yeah, that guy. The guy was stunned.
I can't remember what that's called, but it literally cracks me because my favorite one of them that had me rolling the other day is it's these seals and they're at a zoo, and one of them lays on his back and just starts smacking the shit out of his stomach, and it's when you want your dog to join you on bed. And I'm it's so mean. I feel like a fat seal smacking myself to try and get my dog up on the bed with me.
So real. But
yeah, I don't know what the guy with the eye thing, I don't know what he's called.
Yeah.
I don't think a lot of them have names. I think that they're just, if you type in guy that's blinking his eyes, it'll probably come up.
Yeah. I found this meme. I'll just keep talking while I show Emma. But I thought it was really funny because
you showed that to me.
Yeah, it's really accurate. But
so on that hardcore comedy that you totally like.
The hardcore comedy 2.0. Yeah. If anyone's listening to this, definitely follow that Instagram. I think you actually have to request to join it because it's someone's account. It's that's crazy. There's spider slippers, and she's showing me. I want
spider slippers.
Emma has spiders. She has 3 of them.
I think we already talked about that, didn't we?
Yeah, we might have. But okay, here's what I'm gonna get to after cartoons. Oh, P.S. I love The Simpsons. That's probably my favorite cartoon. Favorite cartoon movie that's not Tiny and not Treasure Planet. What's yours? Favorite cartoon? You know what? I love Hayao Miyazaki movies. Spirited Away and Princess Mononoke scared the living bejesus out of me as a child. I saw those movies too young, and it's not my parents' fault because when you hear about it, it's like a Japanese cartoon, right? And you show your kid that, and there's some really, really, really intense imagery, and it gave me nightmares for so long. However, I love them now. They're masterpieces. And the Hobbit from the 70s, the Hobbit cartoon. Have I ever showed it to you?
Yes, actually, I think you showed
With
me
the
small
horrible
tidbits.
goblin things?
Yeah.
Yeah, those terrified me to no end. So those were a thing, but I think those are some of my favorite cartoons as a kid. I mean, I think I loved The Jungle Book when I was little, The Lion King. But yeah, so
For sure, The Jungle Book.
so
For sure.
let's talk, since it's officially December. Let's talk what are your favorite Christmas movies and Christmas songs?
Oh, Lord. Okay, my favorite Christmas movie right now, and it's probably been my favorite for a few years, is Elf. And I know that's like the most basic Christmas
I
movie
love
to pick,
Elf.
but I freaking love it because, it sounds so stupid, but like, all these other Christmas movies are about like the spirit of giving and love. And like, yeah, those are nice, and I do appreciate them. Like, I love The Grinch. Like, I always love How the Grinch Stole Christmas. But who can hate Will Ferrell playing a giant elf in the middle of New York City wallering on people? Like, I just, that cracks me up. I don't know why, but it's just because it's like, I swear that's just my spirit. Will Ferrell as Elf is my spirit animal.
Yeah, no, his performance in that is legitimately classic.
It's just...
And Peter Dinklage in that movie?
Oh my god, yes. It just makes, like, the whole movie just makes me giggle when I think about it, because it's just the whole thing of this, and it is kind of like Christmas spirit. Like, that is like the point of the movie, but there's so much comic relief through it that it is a comedy. It's like way less of a whole feel good and more of a comedy thing for sure.
As an adopted person, I definitely relate to it. There's like this whole adopted aspect where like his dad like is the guy in New York, but his like the guy who raised him is like the elf.
Papa Elf.
Yeah, I'm like,
I love Papa
hell
Elf.
yeah, Papa Elf. But
I just love it when he's sitting on Papa Elf's lap. He's like 6 times his size. The whole movie cracks me up. Like, to know my favorite. Okay, what's your favorite scene in that movie? Actually, there's a lot of favorites.
This is my favorite scene in the movie. I mean, it's kind of a sad scene, but it's when like Mr. Narwhal comes up. It's like, bye, buddy. I hope you find your dad.
That's not. The narwhal doesn't say it. The narwhal just says bye, buddy. It's the little walrus. I think he's like, bye, buddy. I hope you find your dad. It really makes me cry.
That scene's
Because
really...
he has a little stutter and like...
I think one of the funniest scenes when he's with Zooey Deschanel and he's like...
Is it the shower scene?
No, that's really funny. That scene's really funny. When he's like getting her the cup of coffee and she's like, this tastes like a shitty cup of coffee. And he's like, no, it's the world's best cup of coffee. And she's like, no, this is a shitty cup of coffee.
Yeah, that's
like
something
me
you would
with
do.
you.
Yeah, that's definitely something you would do.
I think one of the other things is when he's at Gimbel's or like Macy's and he's talking to his manager who's playing Santa, and he tackled the first Santa he's like, you smell like meat and cheese, you don't smell like Santa. And he had the whole fight, and then his boss becomes Santa, and he just looks at him, he's like, no. That scene just kills me. It's just like, there's no singing in the North Pole.
Yes, there is. No, there isn't. Yes, there is.
And when he decorates the whole store and his boss comes, he's like, what the hell happened in here?
They're planning overrule. Oh my god. But the thing is that makes me laugh is I've had bosses like that.
Really?
And oh my god, yeah. The ones that are like, it's a conspiracy.
Yeah.
We're all gonna get fired.
Or when
I'm
he
like,
gets
oh my
drunk
God.
in the mailroom.
Yes, that's so...
He's like, oh, you put syrup in your coffee?
You're like, sure. I think one of my favorite scenes is when he's doing the Jack in the Box testing.
Oh, it's
My favorite, I don't know why. It's like, because it's so predictable that it's gonna happen, but when he's doing each one and jumps, he's like, and then he does the one and it doesn't pop out and he's going to write down that it doesn't.
Yeah,
it's like my favorite. That and when he's eating the gum off the street. I don't know why.
It's so gross.
It's so disgusting. When he's like hopscotching across the little walkway stripes.
You know what that always reminds me of?
What?
It reminds me of the scene in Borat when he's walking through New York, except it always reminds me of that, which is another fantastic movie.
Nice.
Hello, my name is Borat. I like you. My wife.
We're just deafened to everybody. I can see this going through the room.
Everyone's ears are just gonna be shot.
Oh, sorry if you're listening on headphones.
Besides Elf, what other Christmas movies do you like?
Honestly, I know I'm totally gonna piss a bunch of people off, but like Rudolph viscerally upset me as a child. It made me very, very sad. The whole movie made me very sad.
The Rudolph, like the claymation one.
Yeah, they're not really claymation. They're like that felt.
Yeah, but that one.
Yeah, that one.
The snow monster scared the shit out of me.
Oh my god, I'm like, how is this approved for children? Like, I am scarred by that damn thing. Like, now that I'm an adult, it doesn't bother me, but as a child, that shit scarred me.
So Rudolph. So you don't like Rudolph?
It's cute, but it's like
that's a classic.
Dark, and it scares me. And I know that's like something that our parents all watched as children, and everyone liked it. But I'm like, that shit scared me as a child. Like,
yeah.
That one and I love the original Grinch, and I love the one with Jim Carrey. I do like both of them. They're very...
The original cartoon Grinch classic, Jim Carrey is insane.
It's its own thing.
No, it definitely is. You kind of got to
be prepared that it's going to be a Jim Carrey film before you go into it.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's going to be weird. Also, though, I just love it because, like, his little dog, Max, looks just like my dog. And I'm like, I'm going to get a little horn and put it on Max.
You know what? I think those are actually all really good choices. I think my favorite Christmas movies... I love Gremlins. I swear to God, if you say Die Hard, I will actually punch you in the face. No, Die Hard is a Christmas movie, but it's not one of those, like, it's my favorite. I mean, I love Die Hard, but I'm not one of the people who's like, Die Hard is a Christmas movie. It is, but no.
Okay.
I think my favorite Christmas movies are Edward Scissorhands and Gremlins.
I watched Gremlins with you. It was a good movie, but that one also
if
creeps me out
you
a
don't
little bit.
watch it as a kid and it scares you as a kid and you watch it older, or if you just see it older, it doesn't have the same kind of like magic.
I'm sure it doesn't. It's like, I don't know. I think I just never really got into it as a child. But
you know what else is one of my favorite Christmas movies, but I don't think it has anything to do with Christmas? E.T. I always watch it on Christmas.
E.T.'s a good movie.
I don't think it has anything to do with Christmas in any way, shape, or form.
Isn't it around Christmas that all that happens?
It might be.
No, because they're all...
Isn't it? Well, they're in Arizona. They're in Phoenix, Arizona is where the movie takes place.
I don't really remember that. I mean, it's been a long time since I've seen E.T. as well.
But I love that movie, and I always watch it around Christmas. But now it's turned into a thing with Em and I that we watch Lord of the Rings around Christmas.
Yeah.
But we have to get back to that yearly Lord of the Rings marathon.
There's another one. I like the Polar Express. I know.
I hate their soulless dead eyes.
I know. See, I don't think it's soulless dead eyes. I think they're really interesting. Like the whole.
It's in the uncanny valley.
Kinda, but the thing is, like, the animation style in that movie is like its own thing. There's nothing like it, and I think that's what's so appealing to me. Also, that's the first 3D movie I saw.
Really?
Yes, that was the first 3D movie I ever saw, and I saw it in IMAX theaters. Yep, it was the snow. I just remember being totally mesmerized when they did like the snowfall scene.
Yeah.
It was incredible because, like, when everyone remembers their first 3D movie. Like, it always holds like a little bit of like a whoa factor.
I'm trying to think, what are other Christmas movies? Like, what are some Christmas movies that aren't Christmas? Like, Edward Scissorhands is a Christmas movie, but it's not really about Christmas.
I mean, there's the Shrek Christmas special.
I don't think I've ever seen that.
Shrek is life.
Shrek is love. Shrek is life. Oh boy.
That really burned a hole in my brain.
So okay. Besides that, I mean, The Simpsons always has a Christmas special, like Charlie Brown. I love Peanuts. I know you're not a big fan, but I love Peanuts.
My mom actually has a Charlie Brown tree on her desk at work.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And then I've got like a little Norfolk pine. He's cute.
Nice.
He's cute as a button.
What are other Christmas movies that... I mean, you know what's amazing Christmas movie that if you haven't seen, you should see? The Muppet Christmas Carol. It is...
I think I've seen it, but
it's with Michael Caine. Sir Michael Caine. And oh my god, so sometimes the Muppets movies are a little hokey. The Muppet Christmas Carol, like the opening number in that is so good. Like that version of the Christmas Carol, I think my dad definitely agrees with me because it's better than the normal one.
I forgot about that.
The Muppet version, in a lot of ways, is the best version of that because it doesn't make it so sad, but it also does have that heartfelt nature to what the Christmas Carol is about, and it hits it perfectly. Did I what?
I was going to say, did you go with us to see A Christmas Carol, like, play?
No.
It was so good. It was at a good church around here, and it was actually, like, a production kind of style church. It's a big, big church around here. It's huge.
Is Les Miserables a Christmas movie? It's a very good movie. A very good story.
I couldn't tell you.
Okay. We're going to switch over because we keep talking about Christmas movies. What are your favorite Christmas songs? What was that loud?
My basic Christmas favorite would be anything on the Michael Bublé Christmas album, but let's
classic.
be real. Or the Mariah Carey Christmas album.
I don't think I've ever listened. I probably have heard songs on the radio from it, but Michael Bublé's voice is like butter. I mean,
it's as smooth as a cream cheese spread on a bagel.
It is.
I would probably have to say, I don't know. I love all Christmas music. Honestly, like, once December 1st hits, man, it's all on from there. I mean, my desk is already decorated. My house is decorated. Life is ready to go. I love Christmas.
My apartment...
Favorite holiday.
I think in my apartment we have 6 Christmas trees up in my apartment.
Yeah.
And
I got one.
we have a little forest going on.
Forest. Yeah. What's your favorite Christmas song?
So I have 2. I'll actually play them. I know you, for legal reasons, you can only play it for like 5 seconds before like copyright goes into effect. But there's one by Julian Casablancas. It's called Christmas Treat. So I'm gonna just play it for a second here, and then I'll go on to the middle. It's actually a real Christmas song that he did. I'm sure it's just for some special. And then my other one is "Don't Shoot Me Santa" by the Killers, which is like such an anti-Christmas song, and it is so funny. And it's actually a legitimate, it's a legitimate song. It's a legitimate Christmas thing. So, one sec. Let me see. Yeah, this is it. So, yeah. So, that's like Julian Casablancas' Christmas. I know I only played it for a second, but I don't want any lawyers coming at me. But it is a fantastic song. And Don't Shoot Me Santa is, I'm not going to play it. But they are both incredible. What?
Let me see real quick.
I'm just trying to think. Are there like those like that song is like a Christmas song, but it's not really. It is a Christmas song, but it's not. What are you looking for?
Probably All I Want for Christmas Is You or Santa Claus Is Coming to Town. Those are probably 2 of my favorites. But that's because they're sung by Michael Bublé, and if he sings anything, it's fantastic.
It is. There's this really good Christmas song that it's not Feliz Navidad, but it's in Spanish, and it's like a mariachi kind of salsa-y sort of acoustic kind of song.
I think I just like the classic Christmas stuff. That's just kind of how I am, though. Like, I don't really like...
No, the song's really old. It's like an old Spanish song, but...
I'm not
No, I know.
Spanish.
No, I'm not either.
White person there probably ever was, so...
No, yeah, I'm not either, but I heard it a few years ago. I'm like, this is incredible. And I didn't even know it was a Christmas song because, I'm not super up on my Spanish.
My historical Christmas song would have been a rain dance.
Oh yeah, Emma has she's not being racist.
Native American blood.
Yeah, Emma's half Native American or a third Native American.
Some percentage, I don't really know.
Well, your dad's like half Native American, so
yeah, my dad is like.
Your dad's very Native American.
Yeah, he turns actually red in the summer. Like, I know that's like a super racial term now, but it's actually like a serious thing. It's not serious, but it's kind of funny to me because he's my dad. But he will turn actually red in the summers when he tans. It's the strange. I unfortunately do not
your
get this.
dad doesn't have. He has like gray hair now, but did he have like black hair?
Oh yeah, his hair was super super dark. And my aunt Sean, his sister, has incredibly like dark, like thick, coarser hair, and they're both very dark skinned.
Your dad looks like. Native American people have a very distinct like complexion. Mm-hmm. Your dad has part of that, like half of it.
Yeah, and then my other side is like entirely German, so I unfortunately got like the yellow-ish pale German skin.
No, yeah.
I was given, and now I'm so jealous. I'm like, why didn't I get my dad's like complexion?
Yeah,
because he like is always tan, always, and I'm just kind of like that would be so nice.
Yeah.
But hey, yeah, I can make those kind of jokes, kind of somewhat. Everyone else makes them still, so.
Yeah, it's like so offensive. Like the Halloween costumes that are like the.
Oh, dude, I know. I'm like, that's not okay.
We were like Halloween costume shopping. Oh, we were Bob Ross in a Happy Little Tree this year.
Yes, we were, and I was a very happy little tree.
And we were looking for the afro wig for me for Bob Ross, and we were walking through just to see like costumes, and there was one that was a Native American that I looked at it, I was like, oh, that's offensive. And then I was with Emma, who is part Native American. She just went off on it, which I 100% understand.
I don't know. It's not cool or anything, because it's like, I don't know. It's no bueno.
Well, it's like it's cultural appropriation, and it's real racist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've all heard about Pocahontas, right? It's like this totally overly glorified thing about a little girl who pretty much gets raped. Like, y'all know that, right?
Someone out there,
is not a positive
someone
story.
out there didn't know that, and it just destroyed that for them. Yeah, Pocahontas in like the actual girl was like 12, right? Or
12
like
14.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was 12 or 14, and
John Smith?
John Smith. He was like, what, 30?
Yeah.
Yeah. And pretty much kidnapped her.
Yeah.
They didn't like quote unquote fall in love. That's like an over glorified Disney thing. That's a horrible story. That's like making a Disney film off the Trail of Tears.
Yeah, it kind of is.
It's pretty screwed up, huh?
No, it is.
Yeah.
It's definitely... I mean, Pocahontas, I'm not going to lie, is quite a good film. But it's based off of something horrible.
Yes.
You know what movie I really like that's a Disney movie? That's like one of the Disney princesses. I love Mulan.
Oh my god, Mulan. That was my favorite Disney.
Eddie Murphy
what
as
makes me
Mushu.
mad is everyone's like, well, she's not actually a princess.
Yeah, she is.
Did you hear that? That's actually a
What?
thing. People are trying to say that Mulan was not a princess.
Mulan is a badass.
They're saying that she's not.
She climbed that tower to
Right?
let's
I'm
defeat
like,
the Huns.
She's more of a princess than any of those girls.
When they're singing "Let's defeat the Huns" and she was climbing
the scene.
she was climbing the pillar with just the straps.
That movie, I love that freaking whipping.
Yeah, that movie. It was also really interesting because it showed that she like had to pretend to be a guy to get into the army, and then she like at the end was like who she really is and like
it
broke
really
free.
tackled a lot of like social issues and kind of was a good way to begin explaining them, I think, to kids.
Yeah.
Without explaining them, but explaining them.
And it
kind
wasn't-
of opening their eyes to it, I think.
And it wasn't like, I mean, I guess being preachy is okay, but it wasn't preachy. It did it very like gracefully.
Yes.
That movie, that's probably out of all the Disney princesses. I haven't seen Frozen. I haven't seen Moana. I heard Moana's quite good, but there's like a bunch of people were offended about the Maori things because of the facial tattoos. And there's a Halloween costume with the Maori tattoos on them, and that's like a lot of people got very offended. But
yeah, the other issue is everyone was like, "Oh, they're Hawaiian," and I'm like, "Oh, no, they're not."
yeah,
I mean, the safest thing to say is Pacific Islander.
I think that's the proper term.
Yeah, that's like the quote unquote. That's how you that okay.
That's how you say that very
Her name
politely.
is Moana. Let's just leave it at that.
Yeah,
Like, also,
and-
everyone was calling her Mona.
Oh no!
I'm like,
But out of all the Disney princesses that I've seen, I think Mulan is the coolest.
yeah, Mulan
She's
is
just like
my favorite. Disney
Mulan's
princess
just
movie.
like a badass. She's who else is
Also, Shang,
who's that? Is that the guy?
the guy. Yeah, the guy.
Oh,
The guy. Yes.
What's the girl? There's it's the Disney. It's the Princess and the Frog one. My roommates were watching it.
Her name's is it Tia?
I don't know.
It's something with a T.
I watched that
love
movie.
A Princess and the Frog.
I watched that for the first time like 2 weeks ago. That movie's so good.
I love Gus, the little lightning bug.
Yeah.
Oh my god, the little
was-
Bayou lightning bug.
I think the villain was really cool. How it was like kind of the witch doctor sort of. What is that? What's the term for that style? It's not
Tiana.
Tiana. What's the term for that? The kind of the what he is. Is it like it's not Bayou? It's like he's the it's like New Orleans witch doctor. What's the term for that? There's a term for what that is, but he's like that, and it's so cool.
I
Like
just
the-
love Gus. I don't remember what he's called, but yes,
Wait,
I know what you're talking about.
What are all the Disney princesses? Since we're down this road, it's
Okay, you ready? It's Mulan,
okay.
Tiana.
Frozen.
That's Elsa.
Okay,
She's actually a queen. That's also another argument. Everyone's like, she's a Disney princess. I'm like, no, she's a queen.
I'm not saying it, but
False. Give me a second.
Snow
give me a second.
White.
I'm trying to think of the newer ones right now.
Oh, okay.
Merida.
What's that?
Brave, the little red curly-headed one.
Brave is DreamWorks. That's not Disney.
They're considering her a princess for some reason.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I've seen that. I don't particularly like.
I actually really liked Brave. That was a
I
really
never
cool
saw
movie.
it. I need to see it.
So I guess that honorarily,
Kinda,
yeah.
I don't know. Snow White, Cinderella,
Okay.
Belle,
Wait, what's Belle from? Is that?
Beauty and the Beast,
Oh yeah, Beauty and the Beast.
Ariel.
Little Mermaid.
Yes.
Is that it?
No. Sleeping Beauty.
Are there 10? Oh, Jasmine.
Jasmine. There's an is it Anastasia?
Anastasia. She's not a Disney
She
princess.
wears a pink dress. This girl does. I never really watched the movie.
I don't think
I'm
Anastasia
Googling
would be.
it, guys. I'm Googling
For
it.
those of you who don't know who Anastasia really was, when the Romanov family, which was the Russian royal family, the last czars were the Romanovs, when they were all executed, Anastasia was the daughter that escaped, or the missing daughter, and that's what the movie is based off of, is her. I only know that.
Aurora.
Who's that? Who's that?
I can't remember. don't know why.
You know what? I'm probably dumb for not knowing. She looks familiar. Is she from... That's Sleeping Beauty. Isn't it?
I can't.
But
I'm seriously pissing people off right now. I can't even remember.
people are screaming at their... whatever they're listening on.
Oh, no.
Oh, but...
This is actually going to bother me. I also really liked Aladdin.
Yeah, Aladdin was really
I
good.
really liked Aladdin.
Have you seen the sequel?
No.
Oh, it's actually really good.
Aladdin just makes me sad now because Robin Williams is not here any longer.
Oh,
That just makes me very sad. Like, the whole movie now, I'm just like...
Yeah. No, but yeah, the Anastasia thing, another Disney movie based off a horrible story.
Yeah.
But no, Aladdin, oh my god. Robin Williams, what a legend. It's so sad that someone so funny was so hurting on the inside. But he made so many people laugh. That's one of those people, I mean, it's always sad when a celebrity does, but that one is just like... Whenever I watch, like, Good Will Hunting now, which is already a very touching film,
Yeah.
it's just 1,000 times harder because it's too real now. But that movie, so good. I was actually watching Academy Award speeches because that's what I do on my free time. And did you know Matt Damon and Ben Affleck won the Academy Award for Best Screenplay for that movie? In their Oscar acceptance speech, they thank Harvey Weinstein because he produced that movie. And they're like, thank you to Harvey Weinstein. And I watched that last week. I'm like, oh no. But, you know what I mean?
Yeah, nobody knows. I mean...
Yeah, I think, no one knew then.
But
or
the
maybe
thing
they
is,
did.
I don't... The whole Robin Williams thing just breaks my heart. And then,
Prince.
Gene Wilder.
But he
That
was
one
90.
breaks my heart still because I love Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Have you ever seen Blazing Saddles?
Yeah. I love that movie.
Him and Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Did you know?
Wait.
Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory is the new one.
The new one. I always get it mixed up.
Yeah, so did you know the first scene you see him, you don't see him until 40 minutes into the movie?
Yes.
But the thing where he does the roll, where he falls and does the roll, that was improv. Because I watched an interview, and what he said was he did that roll so you never really trust what he's doing. It gives you the impression that you're always on edge around him because you're like, wait, does he need the cane? Does he not? And the whole movie you're like, is this guy really what he's up to? Or, I don't know, that movie...
That's pretty complex.
Yeah, oh my god, that character, the Willy Wonka one, is so creepy but so likable.
Yeah. He's very sad. The thing with his dad.
That's in the new one.
I know, it still makes you very sad.
Yeah, it is very sad. That was Christopher Lee, who also passed away. Who was Saruman in Lord of the Rings. He's Count Dooku in Star Wars, but you haven't gotten that far. But yeah, Christopher Lee was actually really famous for horror movies. He was a horror movie actor way back in the golden age of Hollywood.
Mm.
Yeah.
There is a whole flock of blue jays.
Very cool.
They're beautiful. I've been hearing them all summer because they make this. If any of you don't know, blue jays make the worst god-awful noise at 6 in the morning. And you can hear it very well. It literally is just but it's so loud. I'm not about to try and do it because it literally will just drive you up a wall. But they're beautiful birds.
Yeah.
That's a woodpecker.
Very cool.
Woodpeckers.
They're definitely a bird that pecks into some wood.
Have you ever seen the huge woodpeckers, though? The ones that are a couple feet tall?
What? No.
You don't know about those birds?
No.
They're literally this tall.
Really?
Yeah, and their sound that they make when they're slamming into the tree is
It's like a jackhammer.
It is. It's so loud. When if you've never heard one, they're insane. The little tiny ones are the ones that most of us hear now. I think they're the redheaded, and there's the black-throated or whatever. Did you know, okay, a scientist has actually paid millions and billions and billions of dollars to figure out why woodpeckers don't get headaches or concussions?
Really?
Think about it.
Yeah, because
they're slamming their head into a
wall.
Well,
that's like rams.
Kind of. So rams, from what I remember, their skulls are just so freaking tight around their brain. That's why their brain doesn't jiggle around. But the thing with woodpeckers is actually very interesting to me. So their skull to brain ratio is similar to ours. So there's still space between the two, and there's fluid in there. The brain still has the capability of bouncing around to get a concussion. So why don't they get headaches or concussions? And so a scientist actually spent forever trying to figure this out. The thing is, their tongue. So what it does is in their skull, it's like a tongue, and then it splits in half and goes all the way up inside of their jaw, and then into the inner part of their cranium. And it wraps around their brain and secures it basically to their tongue.
Really?
Yes.
So it has like a seatbelt on it?
Yes, it's so it keeps them from bouncing around in their skull.
That's so cool.
Right?
So do woodpeckers do that to get like... What is it to get something out of the inside of the tree?
Yeah, they
to eat?
eat like grubs and things out of the trees, like little tree larvae, and so they'll like dig or peck at the tree basically. So there's like a decently sized hole, and then they get in there and start pulling out whatever they want.
Oh, that's really cool.
Actually, my parents found a hummingbird nest out where I live. Yeah, it was on a low hanging tree branch, and my dad thought it was a cocoon for some insect, and then we started looking at it, and it's literally the cutest little tiny baby nest, and it's so small, and it's so precious.
Speaking of nests, when I was home recently, my dad and mom were walking our dogs, and my dad was like, "Hey, I found a bee's nest. Emma might want it," because Emma was an entomology major, which is insect science. But it wasn't a bee's nest, it was a paper wasp nest, and it was the size of a basketball. And it's sitting in my garage. I'm waiting to give it to Emma when she comes over for Christmas, because I don't want to put it in my car.
It's fine.
Really?
Yeah. If you were able to take it apart and hold it, there aren't any active insects in it.
I
know, but the cool thing about paper wasps, so if you you definitely should Google this if you don't know. When you've seen a paper wasp nest, they're like this gray color, and they're huge. When I first got my house, actually, there was a solid 6 by 4 foot area that was literally one solid paper wasp nest.
Sweet.
It was huge and horrifying because I was not sure if it had been abandoned.
Are there nests made of paper?
Yes. So, I'm about to do some quick education on y'all. Fun fact of the day. So, when you see a paper nest, they're striped and they have different colors. And sometimes they'll have blues and pinks and things like that. It's because what happens is they chew on wood and fiber from different plants or trees. Each tree has a different color. So what happens is they chew on it, swallow it, swallow it, swallow it, swallow it, swallow it, and then they regurgitate it back out into a paste. And that's what they do to lay the foundation. So each line is a different tree, probably from a smaller set of paper wasps that have laid it down.
If they chew on a billboard, would they get paint that comes out in there, or is that all that?
They usually won't, because it's got chemical on it, so they're gonna be ew.
Oh, okay.
It'd be if you tried to lick something with bug spray on it, they'd be ew. But
I see what you're saying.
So trees, all trees have different colors, different
the
species
wood.
of trees.
Yeah.
Yes. So that's why you see the whites, the grays, the browns, the blues, the pinks, because it's come from all these different species of trees, like cherry and walnut and ash, and it's super cool because you kind of can get a history just like you can from the rings of a tree, from the wasp nest of where they've been hitting up to chew on their wood.
That's super cool.
Yep. Cool.
I learned a new thing.
I learned a couple new things.
Dang.
Yes.
Oh, also for people listening, we're going to record the next couple episodes of the podcast this weekend. So, we don't really ever say things in the podcast that date them. So, I was thinking about doing a Q&A for one of the podcasts coming up, just because if people want to ask questions, I think that's kind of fun. But we're recording the next few until Christmas now, just because Emma and I
got lots to do.
Yeah, we have a lot to do, so we're just going to get ahead of it. So maybe we'll release a few a week if we have extra time, but we know this weekend we have a lot of time, so we're going to get ahead of that. But yeah, do you have anything else you want to talk about?
I'm trying to think if there's anything really popping into my head.
We can always do it on
speaking of Christmas, tonight we are going to go to a Christmas lights viewing, and I'm pretty excited because you get to walk around and check out some cool Christmas lights that have been set up, and it's going to be a real fun time.
Except it's 50 degrees here. Thank you, global warming. But
it'll be pretty warm.
I can go. I'm wearing shorts since December 1st or 2nd. This is not good. Thanks, nature. That's not good. But enough of that. Emma's looking at Facebook right now, which I think means she's mentally tapped out of this.
I'm not mentally tapped out. I'm just trying to find if there's anything that's going to spike a conversation in my mind, because I'm kind of out of things right now that are popping into my head, but I know something's going to pop in later and I'll be oh.
We should have talked about that. But
you got anything?
Honestly, I think I talked about everything I want to talk about. Oh, you know what? I would definitely recommend to people. If you want to watch a really good documentary and a really good movie, watch Man on the Moon, and I will describe it to you. So Man on the Moon is about Andy Kaufman, who was an entertainer in the 70s. and 60s. And he was kind of like a politically sort of guy as well. But in the movie, Jim Carrey plays him. And he gets into character for the movie. But the entire time they're filming, which is like 6 months, he doesn't break character for Andy Kaufman, even at home. And the movie is called Man on the Moon because a band called REM made a song about Andy Kaufman. It's like, if you believe there's a man on the moon kind of thing, where they put a man on the moon. That's why it's called that. But Andy Kaufman was kind of a television personality. But they made a movie about him, and Jim Carrey went insane playing him. And now there's a documentary where Jim Carrey talks about being Andy Kaufman and how he literally, when he was done with the movie, he forgot who he was because he had people call him Andy. He like got into character. He grew the like hair. He did all of it to the point where he kind of lost his mind because Andy Kaufman wasn't known to be a super nice guy.
Yeah.
So Jim Carrey turned into this person, and the movie Man on the Moon is fantastic if you haven't seen it. But it just watching this documentary as well is so fascinating, just because I do film stuff, just to see how far a fantastic actor like Jim Carrey will go to like pursue a role that's important to him. And just listening to him in documentaries where people say he went crazy, I think he did go not crazy, but like he lost a few marbles on it, but I think it made him a more profound actor. Sorry, Emma showed me a picture of a big salamander. Yeah. I have a pet salamander actually. Yeah. His name is Sigmund. That's not what we're talking about, but yeah. But you guys should all watch Man on the Moon. Fantastic movie. It's a good learning piece of history. Yeah, that's about all I have to say about that. That's my one recommendation for people to watch this week. I guess two, Man on the Moon and the documentary about Andy Kaufman on Netflix. But yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have any recommendations for stuff to watch or do?
Go do something Christmassy.
Yeah, do something Christmassy.
It's fun. Go buy a stocking. I don't know. Do something.
Yeah, I just started watching Narcos.
Cut out a snowflake.
Yeah. Watch Narcos and Mr. Robot. Did you know Rami Malek, who's Mr. Robot, is playing Freddie Mercury in the new movie? Yeah, right?
Yeah.
I think it's going to be really cool.
Yeah.
Because Rami Malek, I didn't know this, but Rami Malek is also gay. And he kind of looks a little like Freddie Mercury, so I think he'll be able to like embody that character really well for a multitude of different levels of who Freddie Mercury really was.
Yeah.
Because he's a really complex guy.
Mm-hmm.
And one of my favorite singers of all time. Because he was more than just like the guy from Queen. He was more than just like a cross-dresser. Mm-hmm. He was like a really complicated person. And I think Rami Malek, from like personal experience probably in life and acting chops, could definitely do it justice.
For sure.
I don't know if Rami Malek can sing, though, because Freddie Mercury had some pipes.
I guess we'll find out. Huh?
Yeah. But that's just my thing on movies. Emma, you're not watching anything, not reading anything, not listening to anything?
As of late, no, I've been busier than a bee, so maybe next week I'll have some.
Busier than a paper wasp.
Fact.
But yeah, well, again, this I think is number 4 on episode count. Thank you so much for listening. If you're still here, we will be back next week, or recording later today, for next week's episode. Thank you. If you have any questions or like the show, send in a question. You can always email us at the email, which is letussseewhatsticks@gmail.com. And yeah, thank you for tuning in again. We will upload this to wherever podcasts get uploaded and to the YouTube channel. Emma, have anything to say?
That's about it for me. So have a fantasto rest of your day, and we will talk soon.
Adios.
Bye-bye.